Hi everyone! Today I'm going to cook for you one of my favorite recipes. It's a mashup of something we traditionally do, a kind of a small bean-like pasta, and Italian's risotto. Its name is Couscous risotto, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to treat those bean-like pasta like risotto. And it's going to be with mushrooms, grated cheese, and it's going to even include a bit of truffle oil. And as a result, it will be a dish that can be sold in a chic, pricey restaurant for at least $30 to $40. Chic is posh. This is one of my inventions which I love doing. If you're ready, we can start. In fact, our ingredients are very simple. We have couscous, mushroom, butter, onions, a bit of pastrama, which can be any kind of cured meat, prosciutto, ham, whatever you like. Thyme, chives, or you can use fresh onions, some cream, and a bit of truffle oil to put it on to another level. So, how we start is we're going to start with a big pan. So I start by turning the heat. I'm going to put 1 tablespoon of butter and 5 tablespoons of olive oil. This looks like a lot of oil, but if you guys go to an Italian restaurant and see how much oil they put to make that risotto is incredible. You'll be really shocked. I'm going to halve my onion and then have thin slices like this. Fire is big, but I'm putting it into low heat. First, I'll cook the onions. Now it's becoming mushroom season. I have chestnut mushrooms, about 400 grams a pack. They're sold like this. I'm going to use all of them. I'm going to cut like first half and then have big 4 chunks like this. Normally, this would be very big for a risotto, but I want it to be chunky. I cut the small ones, just 4 pieces. In Turkey, we have really nice mushrooms. Matsutake, morel, porcini, chanterelle. Even in Istanbul, I have collected some porcinis, some chanterelles, very close to where I live. Now, I want to show you this. Onions are getting cooked. As you can see, onion gives a bit of its water. Like a minute and a half later, this is going to look drier. It's going to start to soak that water, or the water will evaporate. That's the time when we should add the mushrooms. There are browns at the sides of the onions, and then that's the time that we can add the mushrooms. I am putting the fire to the highest, adding the mushrooms. Why? I have 400 grams of mushrooms that are going to get in the pan. I am not adding them directly because when that happens, the heat, even it's the biggest and the highest, will not be enough to support the heat of the mushrooms. Mushroom is mostly water, so if it doesn't get the heat it needs momentarily, it will give away its water, and then we might end up not frying but boiling the mushrooms in their own water. If you don't have this big of a pan, you can divide them to 2 pans. Now, as you can see, there was never water at the bottom of the pan, and the mushrooms are browning on the side. The onions are caramelizing very well. And this only took 1.5 minutes maximum. This is the time I'm going to add the couscous. You can find the bigger couscous or smaller, it doesn't matter. It will just affect the cooking time. Now I'm going to have 4 cloves of garlic thinly sliced. 4 cloves seems too much, but it's not. Garlic is like one of the best marriages with mushroom. And I'm browning the couscouses a bit as well, like this. I'm going to have a teaspoon of salt. I might add a bit more later on. A teaspoon of black pepper. To this, I'm going to slowly add my brown stock. I am turning my heat now to the lowest, and I have the stock on the side. It has to boil, and by adding it, I'm cleaning also the bottom of the surface and mixing it always to one side, slowly. I have around 600 milliliters of stock. If I need more, I have hot water to help me. When you feel all the water is soaked, add some more and then go on. While this is cooking slowly, on the side, I want to make my pastrmas. I'm going to add a teaspoon of butter. What this mixing does is take the starch of the couscous when it's rice starch and make a creamy texture. And always mixing helps. To the hot butter, I'm going to add these pastırmas. If you come to Istanbul, Turkey, or if someone comes from a family, please tell them to bring you this. It's beautiful. I'm going to have 4 slices. This pan is small, but it's cast iron, so it's going to make it more crunchy, and I want it to be crunchy. While this is cooking, I'm going to prepare the cheese. For the cheese, I'm using İzmir Tulum, but you can always use parmesan cheese. For it to be easily cut, take it from the fridge on the time you want to use it. And I'll use 80 grams of İzmir Tulum. You can use 60 grams of parmesan cheese. Pecorino, something like that, would also do good. Now, as you can see, the pastrami is becoming crunchier. My risotto is now almost coming to the shape I like. The couscous pieces grew more than twice its size. I'll have a check for the taste. You should also check. It's still very tough. So what I'm going to do, my stock was finished, so I'm adding 300 more. As I said, you may not use all of the water, but let it be on your side. The last thing that I'm going to add is going to be some freshness, and I'm going to do it with chives and thyme. I'm going to chop the chives. First tour of pastırma is ready. I'm taking them out like this. I'm going to reheat them when I'm serving. When the couscous still touches your teeth, but it's inside, it's not anymore unpleasant, but it's still tough, it's the time when you should add the cheese. I'm adding the cheese and mixing it together with 100 grams of cream. You can use any kind of cream that you can use with food and mix again. Everything is almost done. I'm adding the chives and I'm adding some thyme. If you don't have fresh one, you can use dried ones. And I'm going to add half a nutmeg in. This gives a very nutty final feeling, which is incredible. I don't add it anytime earlier because I want that fresh woody smell. After I turn it off and just before I am going to put it on the plate, what I'm going to do is a bit of truffle oil. This has the beautiful smell. It's not as expensive as truffles, but does the work. And I'm adding it last minute because I don't want the smell to evaporate. Yes, all done. And on top, the crunchy pastırma comes in. Bit of fresh chives. And another small thing is, after you do it, you hit the plate so that the risotto goes to the side. On top, you can add something fresh, warm milk foam. This is something you don't need to do. The foam will go immediately, but it will also create a fresh taste, like angelly feeling. If I get one piece like this, can I?
Is it too hot?
Looks too hot. Every time I eat this, I fall in love with it. So good. Let me give you from the meatless side. Actually, think of it, it's like cream. It wakes the risotto up.
Can I eat more?
Yes. Half of it yours, half of it mine. It's too much. So for now, that's it, guys. It's a mashup of what I've learned from Italian cuisine, what we have around these soils, and some Refika tricks. Hope you enjoyed. If you enjoyed it, please tell us below. And if you want other things to be done on this channel, please also include those as well. Take great care. See you soon.